Welcome to the Political Checkmate, and today I'm going to defend one of my favorite political channels that got me into politics. That channel is FreedomToons, and I'm going to respond to a channel critiquing FreedomToons called Fun and Profit, video called Debunkers Debunked. Timmy destroys FreedomToons, so here we go.
Freedom!
Oh, we are owed.
Indeed. What are you guys protesting?
Why are their voices so annoying?
Glass houses, Timmy.
Aren't you the 1%?
No, the 1% of the 1%.
We're millionaires, but they're billionaires.
Billionaires, I say, stop hoarding your money. Yes, give us some. No. Work hard for it like we did.
It's not fair. They have so much more money. I mean, all things considered, so do you guys. Maybe you should count your blessings?
That's right. Listen to the boy.
You've just been brainwashed by the Fox News into taking that attitude. They should be giving us what's rightfully ours. But you have everything you need to survive and then some.
My uncle breaks his pills in half so he can survive.
Yes, but I only have 3 yachts. Keep your money-grubbing hands away from my hard-earned yachts.
What makes you think you deserve more yachts than I?
Aren't the people who protest income inequality really protesting the fact that they work really hard but don't get paid as much as they used to?
Well, you could think of it that way, but why would you? Just enjoy the hero.
First off, the argument that people have more than enough to survive is not debunked by your anecdotal argument, and the data that I could find the Motley Fool using Bureau of Labor Statistics data, on average, they could find is $20,748 of discretionary income. And also, I'd like to point out that people could have extra money left over if they do better spending on their budget, such as no spending on alcohol or gambling according to Bankrate. On the income stagnation argument, citation needed. And also, that is one of the arguments on the inequality debates. FreedomToons was arguing against the notion that we need to reduce inequality to help the poor. I would also like to point out that income stagnation is a myth because if you use different inflation index including benefits and look at the individual instead of groups, you would see that people's incomes are growing.
Brisk cartoon.
Look, dude, I don't like that they're hoarding their money any more than you do. But if you want them to be more generous, well, set an example. If you were truly protesting wealth inequality from a place of compassion and not from a place of greed, well, why don't you give your money to those in need?
Teacher showed us a study where rich people actually give less money to charities than regular folks. She had sources and everything.
Your teacher is likely a communist. Now, Timmy, let's play the quiet game and see who can go the longest without talking.
Citation needed, and rich people do give to charities such as Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. So I did some research and found this article from the CNBC. It explains why the wealthy do not give more to charity are in fact due to 3 reasons. 1. They fear their gifts won't use wisely. 2. They have a lack of knowledge or connection to the charity. And 3. They fear other people will increase their requests from them. The solution to number 3 is a strategy that is discussed in the book Think Like a Freak. In chapter 6, they talked about a donation strategy from Operation Smile, where they did a once and done strategy, where they asked people one time if they would like to donate or not, and it helped reduce the bureaucracy costs and increase donations. While for number 1, we could spread the word of charity rating agencies to help increase donations, knowing that their money is being used wisely.
You could really make a difference. There are a lot of people in the world with a lot less than you.
People in the world with less than us? Is he daft?
You mean to tell me there's people who have less than 3 yachts?
A few, yeah.
I mean, nobody's protesting for free yachts. They want to not end up living in a cardboard box like me and Mommy and Daddy did for 6 months.
Outrageous. They should be given yachts as well. All the more reason we need these billionaires to chip in, I say. Yachts are a human right.
Yachts are not a human right.
The people protesting income inequality are mad that banks and big businesses got a huge bailout for the Great Recession that was caused by the banks and big businesses, while regular people lost their homes and stuff.
No, Timmy, just pay attention. This is the good part.
I
right
think FreedomToons was arguing that protesters in the United States aren't really protesting against the conditions of the really worst off in the third world countries. I would also point out that the 2008 recession was caused by government policies, such as the Community Reinvestment Act and the Federal Reserve's artificially cheap credit. If you want to read more, I would recommend reading Tom Wood's book, The Meltdown. On the bailouts, I agree are bad, but I blame it on the government, since the government is generally the only one who uses force to fund things like the bailouts.
I say, you wish to take our yachts away? Have you no compassion?
Do you know how insane you sound?
The last few years, 63% of the wealth created has gone to the top 1% of the richest folks. Meanwhile,
Timmy, shut up and watch the goddamn cartoon.
Not everything you want is a human right. Are you seriously so spoiled that you don't see how rich you truly are compared to the rest of the world?
Aha, plot twist, Timmy. Boom, roasted.
this guy isn't exactly an M. Night Shyamalan, Mr. C. It was pretty obvious that's where it was going. How old is this video? It takes way more than $100,000 a year to be in the top 1% in the world. But the worst part is this whole thing is just a huge straw man argument.
Timmy, do you even know what a straw man argument is?
Isn't it when you give the impression of refuting an argument while you never address the real subject of the argument, but instead replace it with one you just made up?
Well, okay, technically yes, but Timmy, what you need to recognize is that you're actually a huge part of the...
63% of the wealth going to the rich comes from Oxfam, and they are looking at the world, not the United States. When we look at the United States on how much they own of the wealth, a Yale study found that the wealth owned by the rich barely increased from 1989 at 28.6 to 28.9% if you include Social Security. I would also like to ask, so what? The rich got more wealthy. What matters is if it came from a voluntary matter, and not by force, like a king. I got to say, citation needed on over 100 grand to be on the top 1% of the world. I believe FreedomToons is citing World Bank economist Branko Milanovic, I believe I butchered his name, book The Haves and the Have-Nots, where he found that you need a income of $34,000 purchasing power parity per person to be in the top 1% of the world. And the bottom 5% of America is in the 68th percentile, so 2/3 ahead of the rest of the world, because the quality of life in America is better. And I must say, your whole video is a bunch of strawman arguments of responses to your argument.
Problem.
If you want to help the poor, go help them. But stop scapegoating the small minority of people in the world who happen to have more than you do.
They're not scapegoating anybody for that. They're pissed off that the rich folks can buy politicians, so the playing field isn't level. Well, they work harder for less money, watching rich folks dodge their taxes. Isn't that so, Mr. C?
Well, that's just, like, your opinion, Timmy.
Are you saying you don't want to help the poor?
And is he honestly saying that rich people are just going to give money away to the poors because regular folks guilt-trip them into it? You wouldn't do that.
I will admit this cartoon is not without its flaws, but the important message is that you shouldn't complain because other people have it worse.
So these same rich corporations and banks are screwing over people all over the world, and if you're not the person getting screwed the hardest, then nobody gets to complain about getting screwed?
That's right.
These companies are the same ones that go into places like Africa and buy off corrupt governments for mineral rights, pay a bunch of kids $1 a day to mine cobalt, and never build the infrastructure they promised to build.
Ah, so you admit that it's all about corrupt government.
Don't strawman me, Mr. Corporate.
FreedomToons' argument was against the argument about how people believe that the rich people keeping their money harms the poor. Instead, FreedomToons making the argument that everyone should instead donate their money, making a bit of a Peter Singer argument of charity. I agree that lobbying the government is bad. I instead find that the government is really the one at fault since the power could be abused. We should instead have more of a free market of competition. I have already debunked the income stagnation. While rich people dodging taxes, I believe that everyone should not pay taxes because it is theft. On the point of the rich giving charity because of everyone else giving to charity, it might actually increase to the rich giving to charity because people would have higher respect of people who donate, so they might shop at businesses who donate money to charity. Finally, your argument about corporations in Africa is a bit vague, but if you're talking about the De Beers Company diamond monopoly, then you should really blame the government because the government nationalized the diamond mines. Then De Beers came and made a cartel together on diamonds. I would recommend you read the Mises Institute's article on this. And no, this is not a straw man because the government has the monopoly on force, and it incentivizes businesses to seek connections with government over the possibility of being screwed or to have prosperity. This is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Please donate to my Patreon so you can have your video requests checkmated. So thank you and have a great day.